Why are Evinrude and Yamaha engines so fundamentally different? It's like comparing a muscle car to a hybrid. Both get you there, but the philosophy couldn't be more opposite. Here's a mind-blowing fact. While Yamaha was selling hundreds of thousands of their whisper-quiet 4-strokes, Evinrude was actually producing 2-stroke engines that got better fuel economy. We're talking 12.5 miles per gallon versus Yamaha's 6.1. However, there's a heartbreaking twist to this story that most boaters don't want to face. After 113 years of innovation, Evinrude suddenly stopped all production in May 2020, leaving thousands of loyal customers wondering if they backed the wrong horse. The real shocker: their engines were arguably at their technological peak when they shut down. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine it's 2015 and you're shopping for a new outboard. Walk into any marina and you'll hear the salespeople divided into two camps. The Yamaha folks are preaching reliability, smooth operation, and that satisfying purr of a 4-stroke engine. Meanwhile, the Evinrude dealers are talking about power-to-weight ratios, instant throttle response, and technology that sounds like it came from a spaceship. E-TEC this, direct injection that. The core difference: Yamaha bet everything on 4-stroke technology, while Evinrude doubled down on making 2-strokes better than anyone thought possible. And here's where it gets interesting. Both were right, in their own way. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive into marine engineering drama, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're about to reveal some facts about these engines that'll make you the smartest person at the boat ramp. Plus, stick around because later I'll share the inside story of why Evinrude's final engines might have been their best ever, and why that makes their closure even more tragic. Yamaha's approach to outboard motors is like that friend who shows up to every party on time, never causes drama, and somehow still has the same reliable Honda Civic from college. Boring? Maybe. Successful? Absolutely. Take the Yamaha 150. It's literally been called the best-selling outboard of all time. This 2.7-liter inline-4 is the vanilla ice cream of boat motors, and I mean that in the best way possible. Everyone likes vanilla ice cream. It's got electronic fuel injection, weighs about 480 pounds, and will run for decades with basic maintenance. Change the oil, replace the spark plugs occasionally, and this thing will outlive your boat, your truck, and possibly your marriage. What makes Yamaha engines tick is their obsessive focus on refinement. These 4-stroke power plants run so smooth at idle, you might forget they're running. At 1000 RPM, a Yamaha is barely whispering while sipping fuel like a responsible designated driver. Commercial fishermen swear by them because when you're running 2,000 hours a year, reliability isn't just nice to have, it's the difference between profit and bankruptcy. Now, Evinrude. Oh boy, where do I even start? If Yamaha is the responsible friend with the Civic, Evinrude is the one who shows up in a modified Dodge Charger with flames painted on the side. These folks looked at everyone switching to 4-strokes and said, "Hold my beer, we're gonna make 2-strokes better." Enter the E-TEC technology. This wasn't your grandpa's smoking, oil-spewing 2-stroke. Evinrude engineers developed a direct injection system so precise, it made their engines cleaner than many 4-strokes. The E-TEC G2 engines were particularly impressive. We're talking about motors that required no break-in period, no oil changes for 3 years or 300 hours, and dealer maintenance intervals of 5 years or 500 hours. Here's a fact that'll blow your mind. In head-to-head testing on a Key West 203, an Evinrude G2 150 got 17 to 20% better fuel economy than a Yamaha F150 at cruise speed. The Evinrude was getting 12.5 miles per gallon, while the Yamaha managed just 6.1. For trolling fishermen, that's the difference between staying out all weekend or heading back to the dock for more gas. One area where Evinrude often had Yamaha beat was weight. 2-stroke engines are inherently lighter because they don't need valve trains, camshafts, or oil sumps. For example, in the smaller horsepower ranges, Evinrude's advantages were clear. Their engines could be 20 to 30% lighter than comparable four-strokes. Move up to the 200 to 250 HP range and the weight difference becomes even more dramatic, with some E-TEC models weighing 50 to 100 pounds less than their four-stroke competitors. Why does weight matter? Ask anyone with a flats boat or a small center console. That extra 50 to 100 pounds hanging off your transom affects everything. Hull shot, top speed, fuel economy, and how your boat handles in rough water. It's like asking someone to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. Speaking of handling and performance, I need to tell you about something that happened during the 2019 Miami Boat Show that perfectly illustrates these differences. But first, if you're finding this information helpful, drop a like on this video. It really helps the channel, and let me know in the comments. Are you Team Yamaha or were you Team Evinrude? Here's where things get really interesting and slightly controversial. Yamaha owners love to brag about reliability, but let's talk about what that actually costs you. A Yamaha four-stroke needs oil changes every 100 hours or annually. You're looking at $200 to $400 per service at a dealer. Winterization in northern climates, that's another $400. Annual maintenance on a pair of Yamaha 250s can easily run you $2,000 a year. Evinrude E-TECs, no oil changes ever. The engine automatically adds oil as needed from a reservoir you top off occasionally. Winterization could be done at home with the push of a button. The engines would literally run a winterization cycle themselves, fogging the cylinders and preparing for storage. No dealer visit required. But here's the rub. When something did go wrong with an E-TEC, you better hope your mechanic knew their stuff. These engines were technological marvels, but that technology came with complexity. Yamaha engines, any decent marine mechanic can work on them blindfolded. Let me tell you about torque curves, because this is where the philosophical differences really show. Four-stroke engines build power progressively. They're smooth, predictable, and linear. It's like slowly pressing the accelerator in a Lexus. Two-strokes, they hit like a freight train. The power delivery is immediate, almost violent. Evinrude actually admitted that their engines made more power than advertised. Their 225HO model, it actually produced 265 horsepower, but at 4,500 RPM instead of the rated 5,500. This meant incredible mid-range punch that would throw you back in your seat. For bass fishermen making quick runs between spots, or anyone who needed to jump on a plane with a heavy load, this characteristic was addictive. Now we get to the controversial part, the day the music died for Evinrude fans. On May 27, 2020, Bombardier Recreational Products, BRP, announced they were immediately discontinuing all Evinrude production. Just like that, 113 years of American marine innovation came to a screeching halt. The official reason? COVID-19 impact, but industry insiders knew the truth was more complicated. Evinrude had been struggling with market share for years. Despite having arguably superior technology in many ways, they couldn't convince enough boaters to give up their four-strokes. It's like having the best Betamax player in a world that chose VHS. What makes this particularly tragic is that Evinrude had just released their new 3-cylinder 115 to 150 HP platform, which early tests showed to be incredibly efficient and powerful. The G2 engines had solved most of the traditional two-stroke problems, but it was too little, too late. So why did Yamaha win? Simple, they played the long game. While Evinrude was pouring money into making two-strokes competitive, Yamaha was refining what people already wanted. Their engines might not have been as exciting, but they were exactly what the market demanded. Quiet, clean, and stone reliable. Yamaha also had economies of scale on their side. When you're selling hundreds of thousands of engines globally, you can afford to price competitively while maintaining quality. Evinrude, with their smaller market share and complex technology, couldn't match that math. Here's something that'll make Evinrude fans even sadder. BRP had announced Project Ghost in 2019, a revolutionary concept that would have put the outboard motor under the transom, freeing up deck space and creating a cleaner look. This was genuine innovation that could have changed boating. But with Evinrude's closure, Project Ghost died too. Meanwhile, Yamaha continues to incrementally improve their engines. The new VX XTO Offshore 425 is a testament to their approach. Massive power, bulletproof reliability, and technology focused on making the ownership experience easier, not revolutionizing the industry. What made Project Ghost so revolutionary wasn't just hiding the motor, it was rethinking the entire propulsion package. Imagine having an extra 30 square feet of usable deck space on your boat. No more motor well intrusions, no more trying to fish around a massive cowling. The system would have used electric steering actuators instead of hydraulic lines, reducing complexity and maintenance. BRP had even figured out how to make the system easily serviceable despite being mounted under the hull. They were planning modular components that could be swapped out at the dock. This wasn't just moving an engine, it was reimagining how boats could be designed when you don't have to plan around big outboards hanging off the back. If you owned an Evinrude when they shut down, you probably felt like you'd been punched in the gut. But here's the thing, BRP has actually done a decent job supporting existing owners. Parts are still available, warranties are being honored, and there's a network of dealers still servicing these engines. For Yamaha owners, life continues as normal. Your engine will keep running, parts will always be available, and every mechanic from here to Timbuktu knows how to service it. It's not exciting, but sometimes boring is exactly what you want in a boat engine. But let's talk real numbers for Evinrude owners. BRP has committed to continuing parts availability and service support, maintaining a network of over 1,000 dealers. If you've got an E-TEC G2, you're actually in pretty good shape. These engines were so well built and required so little maintenance that many will run for decades with minimal intervention. The real concern is finding technicians who understand the sophisticated electronics and direct injection systems as the years go by. Smart Evinrude owners are stockpiling commonly needed parts like fuel injectors, EMM, engine management modules, and water pump kits. Think of it like owning a classic car. You need to be a bit more proactive about maintenance and parts acquisition. But these engines are absolutely worth preserving. Here's a controversial take. Evinrude's E-TEC engines were actually cleaner than many four-strokes. They won the EPA's Clean Air Excellence Award in 2004. The direct injection system was so precise that emissions were incredibly low, especially particulate matter. But public perception never caught up to reality. People still associated two-strokes with smoke and pollution, even though modern E-TECs were anything but. Let me share some hard numbers that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about two-stroke emissions. According to EPA testing, E-TEC engines produced 30 to 50% less carbon monoxide than comparable 2004 four-stroke engines. At idle, where boats spend a huge chunk of their operating times, the E-TECs were lower by a factor of 50 to 100 times. That's not a typo. We're talking about 2 orders of magnitude cleaner at idle speeds. The particulate matter story is even more impressive. E-TEC engines emitted 30 to 40% less total particulate matter by weight than similar ultra-low emissions four-stroke outboards. This wasn't achieved through catalytic converters or complex exhaust treatment systems. It was pure combustion efficiency. The direct injection system was so precise it could vary the fuel spray pattern based on engine load and speed, optimizing the burn for minimal emissions. What really stings is that Evinrude solved the oil consumption problem too. Unlike old two-strokes that burned oil at a fixed ratio, E-TECs used an electronic oil pump that added exactly the amount needed, sometimes as lean as 500 to 1 at cruise speeds. This meant less oil consumption, less smoke, and less environmental impact. Yet most boaters never knew this, still picturing the blue smoke clouds of their dad's old Johnson 25. With Evinrude gone, Yamaha and Mercury Marine are the dominant players. Yamaha continues to refine four-stroke technology, making engines more powerful and efficient. But here's the thing, they're playing it safe. Without Evinrude pushing the envelope, innovation in the outboard industry has slowed. Electric outboards are starting to appear, but they're decades away from replacing gas engines for most applications. The energy density just isn't there yet, so for now, we're in the age of incremental improvement rather than revolution. Think about what's happening in the automotive world. Tesla forced everyone to go electric, hybrid technology is everywhere, and even Ferrari is making plug-in hybrids. The marine industry, not so much. Sure, there are companies like Torqeedo making electric outboards, and Mercury has their Avator line of electric motors, but these are limited to small boats and short-range applications. A 7.5 kilowatt electric outboard might push a small fishing boat at trolling speeds for a few hours, but it's not getting you 30 miles offshore and back. The battery problem is real. Marine applications are brutal on batteries, constant high power draw, exposure to moisture and salt, vibration and temperature extremes. Current lithium technology gives you maybe 2 to 3 hours of runtime at cruise speeds, and that's with a battery pack that costs more than a complete gas outboard. Plus, where are you going to charge up when you're 50 miles from the nearest marina? What we're seeing instead is refinement of existing technology. Yamaha's new digital control systems, Mercury's joystick piloting, better fuel injection mapping, it's all incremental. The next big leap might be hydrogen fuel cells or some breakthrough in battery technology, but we're not there yet. Without Evinrude's willingness to take risks and try radical new approaches, the industry has gotten comfortable with the status quo. So why were Evinrude and Yamaha engines so different? It comes down to philosophy. Yamaha believed in giving customers what they wanted. Reliable, quiet, clean 4-strokes. Evinrude believed in giving customers what they didn't know they needed. Powerful, efficient, low-maintenance 2-strokes. In the end, the market spoke, but that doesn't mean Evinrude was wrong. They pushed the boundaries of what was possible with internal combustion engines. They proved that 2-strokes could be clean, efficient, and powerful. They just couldn't convince enough people to care. For those of us who appreciated what Evinrude was trying to do, their closure feels like the end of an era. It's like when the last muscle car rolled off the assembly line, or when Concorde took its final flight. Progress, maybe, but something special was lost. Whether you're Team Yamaha or were Team Evinrude, one thing's certain: competition drove innovation. Without Evinrude pushing the envelope, will Yamaha and others rest on their laurels? Only time will tell. But here's my take. If you own an Evinrude, keep it running. These engines are becoming modern classics, and their technology remains impressive. If you own a Yamaha, congratulations, you backed the winning horse. Your engine will run forever with basic care. The real winners, anyone who loves boating. We lived through an era of incredible innovation, where two different philosophies pushed each other to be better. Even if one side lost the war, we all benefited from the battle. If you enjoyed this deep dive into marine engineering history, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video, where we'll be comparing Mercury's new V12 600 horsepower Verado to the Yamaha XTO 425. Trust me, that's a battle that's far from over. Until next time, keep your props in the water and your engines running smooth, whether they're pumping 2 strokes or 4. This is Vintage Boats signing off.